Hello chosen one and God believers. This is not just another video. This is your moment. Something brought you here, not coincidence, but calling. And before you scroll or click away, I need you to take a deep breath and just pause, because what you're about to hear is not entertainment, it's a divine interruption. It's a prophetic message for your spirit, straight from heaven's emergency line, and if you're feeling even the slightest shake in your soul right now, it's because this message was reserved just for you. Many of you have been feeling it lately. That unrest, that tension, that strange pull in your chest that says something is shifting. You've been restless in rooms that once comforted you. You've been quiet in crowds where you used to laugh. And that's not depression, it's divine discontent. Because heaven is trying to tell you, you're not in a normal season. You're in the last hour. Not the world's last hour, but your own prophetic deadline. And I want to ask, how many things in your life have been postponed because you were waiting for the perfect time? How many doors did you stand in front of, praying they open, while God was waiting on you to knock? You've been praying, God, send a sign. But sometimes, silence is the sign. Because when you've already been equipped, empowered, and prepared, the next move is yours. And that's why this moment is critical. That's why you must listen carefully today. This is not about religion, it's about your resurrection. Because some of you, your purpose has flatlined. Your passion has gone cold. Your identity is buried under years of disappointment. But God said, Lazarus, come forth. And I believe that same power is calling you out of everything that's been holding you back. This is your hour. The enemy has been whispering, you're too late. But God is shouting, you're just on time. You see, destiny has a door, but it also has a deadline. And if you don't move when the Spirit says move, that opportunity doesn't wait. Doors don't stay open forever. Just like in the days of Noah, there was a time when the ark door was open to all. But once God sealed it, the storm came, and it was too late to enter. God is calling you to your ark, your place of safety, your assignment, your divine upgrade. But you've got to stop second-guessing what you were born to do. The distractions will always be there. The opinions will always be loud. But in the last hour, you can't be moved by noise, you must be moved by the Spirit. And maybe you've been stuck because you're still trying to fix people who were never meant to go where you're going. That's why the separation hurts. That's why the isolation confuses you. Because elevation requires elimination. You've been handpicked, chosen, set apart, not for comfort, but for calling. And your calling doesn't come with the applause of people. It comes with obedience to God. And obedience always feels lonely before it feels right. Some of you are being pruned, stripped, shaken. And it's not punishment, it's preparation. Because what God is about to pour in your life can't be mixed with who you used to be. This next door won't open with yesterday's key. That's why He's asking for your surrender, your total trust, your willingness to walk blind if it means walking by faith. And I know you've been tired. I know you've been praying and nothing seems to change. But what if I told you the delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing? Because God didn't want to bless your comfort. He wanted to bless your character. And you don't build character in applause, you build it in the dark. You build it in the waiting, in the warfare, in the heartbreak. And now, you're standing on the edge of something sacred. The enemy sees it. That's why he's been attacking you more than ever. That's why your mind has been a battlefield. That's why people suddenly turned against you. Because you're not just anyone. You're chosen. You're marked. You're dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. And the enemy hopes you don't realize what's in you. But God said, tell them, it's time. Time to rise. Time to trust again. Time to move even if your knees shake. Because the window is open, but not for long. And this message isn't hype, it's heaven's heartbeat. You've asked God to speak, this is His reply. Now He's watching what you do with it. Will you step? Will you move? Will you say yes even if you don't see the whole path? Because obedience doesn't wait for clarity, it moves by faith. You've been spiritually cleared for takeoff. But you can't soar if you're still tied to people, habits, or thoughts that keep you grounded. And I'm telling you, with all the urgency in my soul, you don't have time to waste. The door is open. But you must move now. Because this is the last hour. So here you are, still listening, still drawn in by something deeper than words, because your spirit knows what your mind can't explain. This message is not just a video, it's a confirmation. You're not just in a season of transition, you're in a spiritual countdown. You've cried for clarity, begged for breakthrough, and heaven is answering with urgency, not delay. The time you've been waiting for isn't coming, it's here. You're not early. You're not late. You're right on the edge of something eternal, and if you could see what's ahead, you wouldn't second-guess a single step forward. But that's the thing about faith, it asks you to walk in the dark with nothing but God's whisper in your ear. The same whisper that spoke to Noah before a drop of rain ever fell. The same whisper that led Abraham to leave everything familiar and go where God would later show him. The same whisper that told Esther, "You've been placed in the kingdom for such a time as this." And now that same voice is reaching out to you, not to scare you, but to stir you. Not to push you, but to pull you out of delay and into destiny. And before we go deeper, I just want to say, if this message has touched your heart, and you feel led to support this divine work, you can sow into it. I've added a link in the About section through Buy Me a Coffee if you ever feel like blessing this spiritual mission. Your seeds help keep this light burning for others still searching in the dark. But remember, it's never about money, it's about mission. Now, let's continue. You see, what you've been calling resistance might actually be redirection. God didn't let it work because it would have worked against you. That closed door wasn't rejection, it was divine protection. Some of you are angry with heaven for not answering a prayer, but God was shielding you from something your eyes couldn't see. And that's where trust becomes worship. When you don't get what you asked for, but you still praise anyway. When your plans fall apart, but your faith doesn't. When the people you counted on walk away, but you still count on God. And I know it's been hard. I know the nights have been long. I know the silence has made you question your worth. But don't confuse God's quietness for His absence. Heaven is still working. Angels are still moving. And just like in Daniel 10, when the angel finally arrived and said, "I came for your words," God wants you to know your prayers have not gone unheard. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared. There's a divine delay when something bigger is being arranged. And right now, it's not about what you see, it's about what you obey. That's why you're being stretched. That's why you're being tested. Because this last hour will demand more faith than ever before. You can't carry the same mindset into your next season. You've got to be renewed, transformed, rebuilt. Because what's waiting on the other side of your yes is greater than anything you're letting go of. But the choice is still yours. God won't force you into your destiny. He'll call you, but He won't drag you. He'll whisper, but He won't shout. The last hour is loud in the spirit, but quiet in the flesh. That's why discernment matters now more than ever. You've got to know when it's time to move. When it's time to stop praying and start stepping. Moses didn't part the Red Sea by waiting, he stretched his hand. Peter didn't walk on water by reasoning, he stepped out. The woman with the issue of blood didn't wait for an invitation, she reached out and touched Jesus. They all had one thing in common, desperation for destiny. And now it's your turn. Your turn to risk being misunderstood so you can finally be aligned. Your turn to lose the familiar to find the fulfillment. Your turn to break cycles that have held generations captive. God is saying, move now. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when everyone approves. Now. Because the door to destiny won't remain open forever. Just like the 5 wise and 5 foolish virgins in Matthew 25, some were ready with oil, and others delayed. But when the bridegroom arrived, the door closed. And those who were late were left outside. This is that moment for you. This is your oil check. Is your heart ready? Are your hands open? Is your faith stirred? Because you don't have time to get ready, you have to be ready. There's a window in the spirit, and those who feel it know I'm not exaggerating. Your destiny isn't waiting on the economy. It's not waiting on your friends. It's waiting on your obedience. And obedience is the key to uncommon access. That's why this season feels costly, because you're investing in what can't be seen yet. But just like a seed in the ground, it may look like nothing's happening, but under the soil, something is breaking. Something is shifting. Roots are forming. Foundations are being laid. And soon, what was hidden will be revealed. What was fought for in tears will be celebrated in joy. What you surrendered will be returned multiplied. But only if you endure. Only if you move. Only if you trust that God knows what He's doing, even when you don't. Because this isn't just about you, it's about the generations after you. It's about the people assigned to your voice, your purpose, your calling. You're not just carrying dreams, you're carrying legacy. You're not just moving into destiny, you're breaking chains. And maybe that's why it's been so hard. Because you're not just fighting for you. You're fighting for every bloodline attached to your obedience. Every child who will grow up free because you said yes. Every soul who will find Jesus because you didn't quit. And if no one has told you lately, let me say it now, your yes matters. Your life is bigger than you. Your obedience is echoing into eternity. And though you've been pressed, crushed, and tested, God is not done with you. He's just getting started. The oil is about to flow. The doors are about to open. The purpose is about to manifest. And the last hour is about to usher in your new beginning. So take a breath. Wipe your tears. Let go of fear. And just move. Step into your yes. Step into your assignment. Step into what your soul has been crying out for. Because this is not the end. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. And trust me, you are ready. And now that you've sat through this message, breathed it in, and allowed your soul to feel what your mind may still be wrestling with, I want to speak straight to your heart. You didn't arrive at this message by accident. This wasn't just a random video on your feed. No, this was God's timing intercepting your moment of doubt. This was your divine reminder that you are not forgotten, not forsaken, not too late. You are right on schedule, right where you need to be, and this message was your confirmation that even in your weakness, grace still says, you have one more chance. The last hour isn't about panic, it's about preparation. It's not about fear, it's about faith. If you've been stuck, delayed, broken, or overwhelmed, this is your permission to let it all go. The shame, the regret, the guilt, God is not holding your past against you. He's holding your future wide open in front of you. All you have to do is trust Him enough to step forward, even if you're trembling. The story of the prodigal son in Luke 15 wasn't just about a return, it was about a restoration. And just like the father in that story, your heavenly Father is not angry at you, He's running toward you with open arms. Destiny doesn't require perfection, it only requires surrender. And today, if something inside you is stirring, then surrender. Just say yes to God, even if you don't know all the details. Let your yes be louder than your fear. Let your surrender be the spark that unlocks your next season. You've been carrying weight you were never meant to carry alone. You've been fighting battles you were never meant to fight without God. And now, it's time to drop it all at His feet. Because you're not entering your next chapter in survival mode. You're entering it in surrender, strength, and supernatural favor. The old version of you is expiring. The one that doubted, feared, hesitated, that version can't come with you where you're going. You've crossed the line in the Spirit. And though it cost you peace, comfort, even people, you're still here. That means God is not finished. That means purpose still has a pulse. That means heaven is still betting on you. So take this as your confirmation, your reset, your final warning with gentle love. Move now. Align now. Trust now. Because when the clock hits 0 in the Spirit, what's been held up will either be released or reassigned. Don't miss your open door. Don't miss the miracle you've prayed for just because you refuse to let go of what God already called finished. Destiny doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It responds to obedience. And if this message ignited something inside you, I want you to stay connected, not just for more videos, but for more confirmation, more clarity, and more divine alignment in your life. I pour my heart and spirit into each message, And if this has blessed you in any way, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your support keeps this light burning for so many others who are still walking through darkness. And if you ever feel led to support the mission further, you can find the Buy Me a Coffee link in the About section. Every seed you sow into this divine work helps reach more souls, more broken hearts, and more searching spirits like yours. But above all, just stay connected. Because this isn't just a channel, this is a movement. A movement of chosen ones rising in their calling, breaking free from old cycles, and stepping boldly into divine purpose. I'm honored you're here. You're not alone. You're chosen. And your hour has come.